Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning from wherever you are, and welcome to our review of Doctor Who's Boom, episode 3 of the new series. And joining me are my usual. Oh, hang on a second. What happened there? We didn't go live on Twitter. Wait a second. Technical error. Okay, now we're live on Twitter. Joining me are my usual lost companions. How's everyone doing? Great, don't care. Let's just crack on with it. So, um,
I'm
here
an
we have. Eh?
I'm an explosive.
What's that?
It's all right. Never mind. I
That was my fault. My speaker's too far away. I didn't hear you. That's
right. Okay.
There we go. All right. Okay. On that note, I'm going to gauge to the panel and see what they thought about this episode. Then I'll let my thoughts be known. This week, I'm going to start with Lord Donkey, then work through Simon, Alexia, Gaz, and then myself. So, Lord Donkey,
Ah,
your thoughts on this week's
the
episode?
moth is back. Those are my thoughts.
Yep.
What a stark difference between the first two episodes, um, in tone. No, I had a lot of fun with it. It was tense. It was edge of your seat. I thought it was great.
Awesome. Okay, Dr. Simon.
Brilliant. It's proper Doctor Who, this one. Doctor Who works at its best when it's in one location, limited cast, but huge ideas, and it relies solely on the Doctor figuring things out. And that's it. Stephen Moffat is best when he's writing one episode and has got boundaries to work within, and it absolutely shows. It's his best since Blink, I think.
Okay. Wow. Alexia.
Yes. A very welcome change of tone, but kind of you could not have more tonal whiplash. Excuse me. The tonal whiplash from the last 2 weeks, the double helping they had. Like new audiences will think, no, I've tuned into the wrong show. And I can't help but think that the audiences that love the new audiences that love this, the people who weren't so keen last week, and vice versa. It does seem a little bit odd. I also think it could have done a bit later in the season for their relationship. Although one thing that did occur is I realised after I thought this looks right from the first shot, from the first few lines of dialogue, this feels like this is Doctor Who. I realised in the following minute how much I care and am invested in these characters, even though they're a new Doctor and a woman we've known for either 4 months or 3 hours, depending on how you look at it. And actually, you care like she's the companion. He's the Doctor and she's the companion, and he could not be more doctorish. I knew I was looking forward to Moffat writing for Shitty Jackwell. I now think he has the potential to be one of the best Doctors if they can keep the scripts up. But I have high hopes for next week, but that's another story.
Okay. Gaz.
This was a really, really great episode. It showed Shooty's Gatwords because last week I talked about the whole thing with his reaction to the whole church scene and stuff, and the figure pointed at him. This was that over an entire episode. His performance was absolutely magnificent, and he was magnetic. And considering that he stayed in more or less one place the entire episode, shows how much of a magnetic presence he has, because you can't take your eyes off. You're like, what the hell is going to happen? And this is how you do Doctor Who. You deal with the fact that warfare is very capitalist led. That people will just create wars will keep perpetual wars in order to fund military money. So, like, for example, World War II was actually one of the reasons that the US got all the Great Depression and stuff like that. And they're using that to show how warfare is now used and how people are just not seen as people, but are seen as a commodity. So there's a lot of critique there. This is my favorite episode so far. I know that you guys loved last week's. This is my favorite episode so far because it reminds me of a film, and you guys might have seen it. It's like a foreign film where a guy literally his head is on a landmine, and there's two other guys who are part of the different teams, and he's there forever with this landmine in the back of his head. And you're wondering, is he going to get up? Blah blah blah. And this is like that with Doctor Who. This was absolutely superb, and more of this tone, more of this. I get the four fun things because they should be the release to the serious tone. The serious tone should be the main tone, and this sort of fun, happy Doctor should be the release from that tone, in my personal opinion. Anyway, go ahead, GG.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah, I mean, this was a great episode, for sure. I mean, obviously, what we had last week, just in terms of the villain, was phenomenal. But this one, the grander scheme of it, just made it a better episode. The kind of the political messaging behind it, and it's not shocking to anyone with half a brain. The kind of comparison it draws to like modern day. I mean, even the revelation of who they're fighting against, which we'll get onto later as well. It's just like, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's the allegory for you just fighting a bunch of nobodies in a fucking desert. But, mainly what's under that desert, it's what the other people want. So I think they could have dived into that a bit. But that being said, this is where I like Shuchi Gatwa. We got to see his acting chops here because he was stationary. There was a lot of emotion. There was a lot of like just the switching between the kind of different like emotions and just the fact that you're just helpless. You can't do anything because of what you're standing on a landmine. And it was great. I think they did a really good job. And I was shocked to see that we've already seen the next companion make an appearance so early on.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that while I was watching it. I saw that later that Monday Sunday is next season's companion.
I only realized that straight away because I know the actress from other stuff. So I already knew that she was cast to be the next companion. And we can actually talk about. So for anyone that hasn't seen it, I'm sure you've seen it because this is a spoiler review. So you're just here to gauge our opinions. They land on a planet that's at war. And we get early on, it's like a group of basically ministers. Yeah. The Ministry of Wrestling thing, like Anglican.
Anglican vicars or Anglican
ministers. The ministers. Yeah. And they're like, military kind of soldiers and all of that. And blah, 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 landmine. And then the whole fiasco happens around that. So let's talk about, what were your kind of standout moments within the episode or kind of things that you liked, particular scenes that you liked? Gaz, I'll start with you.
The best one was the whole beginning because the whole beginning is like quite a substantial bit. It was like last week with Jinx eating the musical notes off that guy, then playing the Doctor Who theme. I think this might have been a bit longer, where we see like the new companion flirting with the guy, and then all of a sudden we cut to two guys in basically no man's land. One of them basically falls off, a landmine gets evaporated, and the blind guy takes the glide, and then all of a sudden we see this thing going when because it says your message will be passed on to your loved ones, and then all of a sudden we see that, and then the Doctor just sprints and then catches himself. It's just all that was brilliantly well done. Of it basically introduced you to oh my god, and then like my favorite bit was when spoilers. Ruby gets shot, and we see like his reaction to it because I was not expecting that. Because I literally, she's there going, "Oh, just point it at me. It'll trigger the thing." And then all of a sudden, she's about to do it, and all you see is poof, poof, and you don't see them coming. And all of a sudden, she just rolls up. And I'm like, "Oh my god!" Because like Mel Gibson, the last two episodes, has been fucking killing it. Like people are saying, "Oh, she's only hired because she's pretty." No, she's a fucking awesome actress.
Oh, she's a brilliant actor.
I like her future is as bright as Karen Gillan's, and I'm calling it now. She's going to be in Hollywood films, I'd say, in 2 years. There you go. I just called it.
Yeah. 100%. Alexia.
Oh God, so many. I think everything so electric secondly stands on the landmine.
Mhm.
And that whole interaction, I like the poetry and music idea. Um, the moment where Ruby gets shot, even though it only takes you a couple of seconds to realize what's fake out. And yes, another Moffat trope. Oh yeah, you killed off a companion. Mind you, dead dad stays dead. There is a proper bona fide death in this episode.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's those two. And well, it was the standout moment, not any shortfall. So yeah, I think it's just all dramatic, it's all tense and suspenseful. Unfortunately, what some people, even with Hitchcock, what some people find suspenseful, some people find quite boring. But a lot of people are saying they would glued to their seats, they never took their eyes off the screen. So.
All right, Alexia, can you do me a favor? Can you go and just say, I think your mic has seems to have changed to a
Oh.
different.
Yeah, you
For
seem
some
to be a
reason.
bit quieter, Alexia.
Yeah, you will.
Right.
If you check your settings to see if the right mic is selected, it sounds
Oh.
like it's a laptop one.
It is wrong. Yeah, you.
I thought so. Don't worry. Yeah, once she comes back, I'll bring her back in. Lord Donkey, your standout moments.
I'm going back and forth between so I really liked Susan Twist in this again. We got another twist at the end. As the ambulance. The whole concept of it being this capitalism gone wild where the ambulance says, "Oh, you're going to take 4 weeks to recover. That's too long. You're dead."
Yeah.
We'll alert your next of kin. The ambulance droid there had so many good moments, especially like with Ruby saying, "Oh, next of kin," and glitching out. So there's just, what are they doing with this actress? It's the mystery around Susan Twist. She's been in what, 5 of the last 6 episodes now,
Yes.
or 6 of the last 7, something like that. So they are up to something, and I'm enjoying the ride.
Yeah, great. Alexia, just can we get a mic check from you just to see?
Okay, 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, is that better for everyone?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. That's a better one. All right, Dr. Simon.
Gaz, what you were just saying about Maestro and eating notes, does she eat quavers?
Wait.
Sorry, dad joke in the middle.
It's a great joke. He needs to shake his head off.
I just love the facts that we're in the Moffat verse again, because it's Villain Guard, it's Data Ghosts, it's
Yep.
I've got this idea in my head that there's like there's one big universe, but there's like kind of different wibbly wobbly areas where it's the RTD verse and it's the Moffat verse and the Chibbers verse, and this was firmly back in that. So we got Villain Guard and we got all those things. I half expected a Captain Jack reference halfway through, and it's firmly in that, and I just love that because it ties in with not just like the classic Who references, but to what might be to us the recent Who references to what, about 10 years ago.
Right.
But the whole and it, specifically the war clergy and things like that. And my favorite point was the Doctor saying to Ruby, "You live in a blip." And it felt like an accusation to us. You live in a blip. You live in the dream. Shut up. The rest is awful. So, and that's proper Moffat, because even when he was doing, has anyone seen Coupling, his sitcom?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even that, and it was really funny, but that had a dark underbelly, and every now and again there'd be something like really bleak. Like a bleak line here and there, and it'd just be like, whoa, where did that come from? And he's got I like the underlying dark side to it all. And even to the point where at the end the doctor goes, right, okay, that's it. And it's a bit like Mr. Griswold from National Lampoons, and like the speeding through all the landmarks and going, right, okay, next one. You know, and he's doing that, and he can't really appreciate life because, you know, he says, quite frankly, you know, like your life's too short. You know, you can't do it. It has to be 2 minutes. There's just too much to see. So that might come and bite him back on the arse, I think.
Yeah, seeds are planted and all of that.
Mm.
Yeah, I think for me, so Lord Donkey hit on one of the ones where it's just like, you gotta take too long to fix, so we're just gonna kill you, get rid of you, you know. Yeah, you're just like a commodity that we don't need anymore, so off you go and all this. The daughter being there kind of felt out of place, but I get obviously why they did it. So yeah, but I did like the performance of the new companion that's going to be in it, Monday. I thought she did really well, so it's going to be good to look forward to her when she arrives on the scene eventually, and how her role will play into anything later. And of course, as always, what I always love is when you get more seeds of the overarching story. So when we get her being shot, and then the snow stops, and all that kind of stuff, I absolutely loved it. And of course, being a political person, yeah, the kind of messaging within it's kind of attack on kind of capitalism, to say, look, you know, you're just fighting these pointless wars in the desert. I mean, you're not fighting anything here. It's just dirt, sentient dirt. That's all you're fighting, kind of thing. And it's just like,
It's not even that.
yeah, was it not even? No, it wasn't even sentient dirt. It was just nothing.
They just started a war against nobody to make money.
To make money, yeah, and that's that was obviously the big standout again. You know, the war is for profit kind of thing, because you know, you help fund all this kind of pointless wars, but hey, corporate profits, yay!
And a quick swipe at the way the NHS has been done down as well, with seen as commodities rather than actual people. And I know, as a healthcare person myself, clearly, that was really driven home by the sharp scratch, because that's the extra line of consent. You know, it's like, do you consent to this? Okay, second consent is sharp scratch. So they're telling you again, you're about to get jabbed. And it was just that, okay, sharp scratch thing. And it was such black humor. It was absolute genius.
Yeah, but I think that's again the kind of good parts of Moffat's writing is when he can get a good balance. But I think you guys are right, is that he just needs tighter control rather than having like a whole kind of universe thing, because that's what kind of derailed Doctor Who for me as well, was just like all that kind of stuff, because I was watching it early on and I was just like, oh, what's going on here? So yeah, it was nice to kind of see him back. It was nice to see a change in tone. I hope the kind of tone doesn't necessarily stay like that, but is, you know, again, gets darker as it goes along, as we see more of the Susie Twist stuff. And yeah, it was a lot of standouts. So all right. Anything else anyone wants to talk about the episode and what you think this means moving forward? Yep, Simon.
Just one point that I thought it would work really well on the stage as a one-act play on the stage, because it's in one location. You could adapt it easily. I'd go and see it.
Yeah.
I think that's a good shout.
Because on that, of course, if you see the Doctor Who Unleashed, it is all a set, because Moffat said no muddy fields. And apparently these are the guys who do The Mandalorian. I knew they did Guardians of the Galaxy, but there's something they did on The Mandalorian. It's neither a location nor is it green screened. There's a volume stage behind them, which is a curved screen. It's actually there with LEDs. And the whole thing, like, it all looks real because it kind of is. And the actors are actually surrounded by what we can see and hear, and And the other Star Wars connection is apparently the new companion actor, whose name I can't remember, is no, it's not the Mandalorian, but she's in a Star Wars TV
Andor.
show.
She was in Andor.
Yeah. Okay.
Andor.
Yeah. So a couple
Yeah.
of Star Wars connections. So yeah.
Yeah, that's why I know her from that, and I think it's Extraction 2 or something like that. One of those kind of films.
The ending was very Star Wars, I thought, where they're all
Yes.
like watching there, and I just thought, yeah, they're getting those references in
A
because
little
they
bit of a Force Ghost there as the AI. Kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah, that,
yeah.
yeah. Like, I mean, to be honest, with you, the bit that kind of broke my heart a little bit was when the guy that had a crush on the new companion got killed, and then
suddenly.
all of a sudden, like, his thing came out, and he started to play. He says, "You've been designated as my special person," and he says, and when she started to cry, it's like, God, this is a person who's like trying to put up this like macho, almost Sigourney Weaver energy, but like has this moment of vulnerability. It's like, God, that was really good. I mean, I had the feels on that. I was like, that must be how a lot of people in combat feel. Like they grow close to people, even if it's in a non-romantic way, and then that you lose that person. It's like, that's what it must be like. I mean, this is why I never will slag off soldiers, because they must go through something like that where they lose friends, lose people closest to them and friends, and it's just really hard.
Yeah.
Indeed. Indeed. Okay, so I think we've covered all the bases. Anything else anyone wants to talk about?
Yeah. Can I talk about the young girl? I thought she was out of place. I know why she was there. I literally know why she was there. I just felt it was a little bit shoehorned. If there was any moment of the episode I didn't like, it was that. I mean, like that, it felt a bit like empty child. Do you know where my money is? And the stuff like last week where it was kind of like that as well. It's like, look, we get it, but it's like you could have had her not in it, and there would have been nothing lost.
Yeah, just have them communicating, like, through their comms, and like Daddy's AI ghost kind of pops up.
Yeah.
On the telecommunicator thing rather than her being there. It did feel that's my biggest criticism of the episode, is that it's just that it just felt out of place. Kids in a war and all this kind of weird shit. It was just but it's a minor gripe compared
It
to
felt like part of the I don't know, just everything kept piling on. First the little girl shows up, then the soldier shows up, then the ambulance shows up, then the other soldier shows up, and it's just like it keeps getting worse while the doctor's just standing on this mine.
Yeah, and he's like, take out this whole goddamn planet.
But there's some good religious commentary on this too. At first, when I saw their collars, I thought, is this going to be the Church of the Papal Mainframe? But no, it was some other group.
Oh, I think it is, because they are still Anglicans. No, I think it does connect.
It was the group from the Weeping Angels two-parter, I think. Or affiliated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they're also the same as in A Good Man Goes to War.
Yeah.
It is all the same.
Okay.
Yeah, it does all connect. Yeah.
Isn't it?
Actually, I have a theory, because this has got lots of world building, except it's an extension of what he did over a decade ago. I think that all of his contributions are going to connect. And of course, the next one's going to be the Christmas special, Joy to the World, which he name dropped along with the name of this, if you recall, when he denied he was returning.
That's next episode.
Sorry, I want to mention a really obscure reference, which is the thing I tried to say at the beginning. I'm an Explosive is the name of one of William Hartnell's first films.
Oh.
Okay. Wow, that is a good find on a deep cut there.
Mind literally.
But people
mind blown. Body blown.
People are disappointed that there's no direct reference to Genesis of the Daleks, but I think given that the premise kind of is already a reference to that scene,
Yeah.
I don't think it was necessary to make a direct quote or something. I
Hmm.
did think, I will say, it had to be a lesbian Gymkhana, and I am a queer person. There are several queer people here. It is getting a little bit weird how many times it's dropped that a character, I think it's every episode thus far. Now, they're not doing what Chibnall did, and somebody introduces themselves as queer, and in the next scene they're dead. I think to be Chibnalled should be it. Oh, a queer character. Are they going to get Chibnalled? That should be his contribution to the lexicon.
Chibbers.
And my fan theory is the reason that now there seems to be a high volume of queer people in the Hooniverse is that Flux only affected straight people because Chibnall realized how high a death rate he'd given to queers.
Okay. When people talk, I don't know what to say on that because Simon.
It's the gay agenda.
I mean, I would deduce there's so many gay characters in it. Maybe, just maybe, because Russell T Davies is,
Well,
you know,
yes.
the Queen King of gays. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna put my people in this. Fuck you, kind of thing. It's like, all right, as long as it doesn't detract from anything, and it's not like their only personality, which is like the thing that Disney does. Like, I'm gay. This is me. This is everything. All right, what about normal life stuff? I'm gay. This is me. I'm everything. Yeah. So, you know, I don't care. Put a queer dog in it as long as they're interesting. I'm all for it.
Oh,
What
I've
was it,
always had my
K9?
suspicions about K9, you know.
Yeah, boy, yeah. Well, there you go. You know, questions about that coffee machine he humped. What was it? Gender?
I did
Yeah.
think though that there was kind of like subtle, was it allusions to Cassandra? There's like very subtle, like I think there was one where he's got like images and he's gone through them, and one of the images was of Cassandra. I was like, is she going back? I mean, there's only one maker coming back. I mean, I'd want to see, because the thing is that Zoe Wanamaker had probably the most fruitless task just voicing that role. I wanted her to actually play the role herself, or like, I wanted to see what she was like when she was actually normal. And I think that could be an interesting thing for this particular Doctor to do, is like see what Cassandra is now, especially after what happened.
Cassandra the skin thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
she got
the
transferred
fun.
into. She actually had like a corporeal form, because like there's like a thing where like she went back and like Cassandra in the past adopted Cassandra in the future. It's real weird to think about, and it's like, yeah,
Right. Okay. Yes.
There was
Right.
a second. Sorry, there was a second mention of the bishop, but just putting it in there. Because they said the bishop last time was a Time Lord, and this time we can assume it was the bishop who was the Mentos in the church. But do we know that for sure, or is it another Time Lord?
Oh, okay. All right. So I've got a couple of Easter. Well, I don't know if they're Easter eggs or whatever from the Guardian here. So it says, you know, titled "Deeper into the Vortex." So Harry, I'm standing on a landmine. Within minutes of landing on Skaro in 1975, Genesis of the Daleks, Tom Baker's fourth Doctor, had to be rescued from a landmine by Harry Sullivan. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So Moffat also wrote the scenes in 2015's The Magician's Apprentice, The Witch's Familiar, where Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor encountered a young Davros stuck in a field of landmines.
Yep.
Okay. Boom isn't quite the shortest ever Doctor Who episode. The Chris Chinball penned 42 takes that honor.
Okay.
Okay, that's irrelevant. The Doctor has known the Skyboat song for a long time. Patrick Thornton's second Doctor played it on his recorder during 1968 adventure, The Web of Fear. All right. The Doctor calms himself by reciting the rhyme that finishes, "Don't you know there's more to life than the moon and the president's wife?" In The Magician's Apprentice, Missy told Clara that the Doctor once stole the moon and the president's wife in Hellbent. Peter Capaldi corrected that tale, telling Clara it was the president's daughter. I didn't steal the moon. I lost it. Yeah, is that okay? That's
Okay.
fucking awesome.
I
At the
think
end of
it
Boom,
rings a
sorry, say it again.
bell. It rings a vague bell.
All right. And at the end of Boom, the Doctor promises he will visit Splice on Monday for fish fingers and custard, one of the dishes a post-generation Matt Smith demanded from young Amy the 11th hour. Yeah?
Oh, yeah. That's a big reference. Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. So that means he'll be coming back for, for that dish then when he picks up Monday.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. We can move on to our ratings. Lord Donkey, I got you. What are your ratings for this episode?
I'm gonna go with a 9. It was very well done. I still had more fun with the last week episode. I'm gonna have to stick with, but this was very good. Just all the callbacks, the ramifications of the Doctor dying that we haven't touched on in a while. That he would have blown up half the planet or something like that was cool to see, and just that it's furthering the story. So I was happy with it.
All right, Simon.
I'd say a 9 as well. As I say, Doctor Who works best in a confined area with a small cast and talking about big things because that's what it does. It's good, just good Who.
All right, Alexia.
Okay. I will say, because if I don't give this a 10 out of 10, then it won't be anything. And I think I gave Devil's Cord 9 out of 10, and that definitely did have flaws. This, you might argue, it drags in the middle. I can kind of see why somebody would say I did enjoy it more on second viewing, but I think I was just tired at midnight because obviously I will also do a bit of a cheat here because I can reference the group, as in the Hughie Gatwa Doctor Who Facebook group, and the poll's not been up long, but it's points out of 5, and 5 out of 5 takes a massive lead with 56% of the vote. 4 out of 5 has 32%. That's for a distant second. So 56% of voters in this group have thus far given it 5 out of 5, and I'm giving it 10 out of 10.
All right. Oh, there you go. Gaz.
Do you want 10? I was going to give it 9 because of that young girl, but do you know what? When the young girl doesn't bother me, you know it's a pretty damn good episode, so 10.
Yeah.
All right. As a Doctor Who episode, I'm going to go with I'll go with an 8. It was the little girl and sometimes the pacing, but other than that, solid episode. I did prefer last week's for sure. Up until the musical number, then it just derailed. But other than that, it's very good. Again, love that we've still got the overarching snow stuff as well. So, 8 out of 10 for me. And next week's episode, they were in the Highlands, but I turned it off because I don't like spoilers. So,
Isn't it Wales?
It's Wales pretend to be Scotland.
Whatever. Wales.
I thought they said Wales.
It's all the same shit to me, mate. You know, muffled English.
The provinces.
Yeah.
Sorry, Twitter.
Yeah, the provinces. That's it.
He
All
said
right,
that, not me.
Okay. Thank you all for joining us. That is our review of Doctor Who: The Boom. Join us again next Sunday when we review the Highlands or whatever it was called. And on that note, I want to thank my panel for joining me and live long and prosper, whatever the doctor says.
Yes.
Bye.